To another edition of How to Get There. I'm Coach Jerry Mills, and we have a special guest today. This is Miss Renita Gold.
Hello.
And she's a trooper, first and foremost. But in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I brought her on because she has a story to tell, and she is an awesome sister, and she's going through some things, but I'm going to let her tell you in her own words. Welcome. Thank you for coming aboard, Miss Gold. So the first thing I want to ask you is, what was your reaction when you found out when you were diagnosed with breast cancer?
Okay, so my first reaction was, how did I get this? Like, there is no breast cancer in my family, not on either side, my mom or my dad's side. So how did I get breast cancer? So that was my first reaction. And then, what am I gonna do? Like, how does this work? Like, I had so many questions going through my head because I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm so lost. So that was my first reaction.
And with that being said, this is not a John Wayne movie. This young lady is going through it. I wanted to get her on because you have a lot of breast cancer survivors, but she's at the front end. So her story is right there on the front line. And so for the young ladies that are at home listening to it, the number one thing, wouldn't you recommend ladies to get tested?
Yes.
And what is the earliest age you think that should be accomplished?
Okay, so first of all, I didn't realize that it's not just genetic. So I would say, first of all, if it's in your family, then of course you want to get tested as early as possible. And I think they say maybe about 30, 35 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then then as far as the non-genetic part of it, that would be you getting older. That's one thing that contributes to a high risk of breast cancer. The fact of it, that if you smoke, if you drink alcohol, and also if you're not active. If you are not active, that can contribute to breast cancer. Also, the environment is one thing. We can't do anything about that. We can't do anything about age, but we can do something about being active. Another thing you guys would not even imagine, because this kind of blew me away. So if you do not have any children, if you've chosen not to have children, that is another way that you can get breast cancer. Yes. And then also menopause, late menopause, that is also a risk of breast cancer. So we have to do some work, ladies. We have to get work done. Okay.
And with that being said, I'll interject that, again, she is on the journey, the beginning of this journey. And as you can see, the energy that she has, not everyone is going to have that energy. And I am very impressed with the young lady because she's handling it. And right now, she doesn't know what the outcome is going to be. But I'm going to put it out in the atmosphere. It's going to be a great, fantastic atmosphere. Now, I have another question I wanted to ask you. I learned that you had a second opinion. Oh, yeah. Walk us through the details and why you felt necessary to have a second opinion, starting with who gave you the first opinion, but not so much naming the name, but why in your heart did you feel as though you needed a second opinion? Okay,
so the first doctor that I spoke to, one thing that kind of deterred me or made me think is the fact that she was kind of speaking kind of fast. I'm new to this. I don't know anything. So therefore she was kind of going kind of fast, and I just wasn't getting, what she was saying. And then she wouldn't let me record her. I wasn't going to put her on camera or anything like that, but she wouldn't let me record because I'm like, I'm not going to remember all this. Like, I'm a woman of a certain age and my memory is just not that good. So I'm not going to remember this stuff. And so that was one thing that kind of, I was like, oh my God, okay. And so then once we were a little further in the process, she ended up telling me what it was we were going to do and all those things. Get past that, so her nurse ended up calling me, and her nurse told me that, well, we couldn't find anybody to take who will accept your insurance, because this is my thing. If you're going to be all in my business, then I've always wanted a breast lift. So if I can get that done during this process, then of course I want to get it done. Okay, so her nurse called me, and her nurse said to me, well, we can't find anybody to take your insurance. And so, do you want to go ahead and move on with the procedure? And I was like, well, no, I would like to go ahead on and wait a bit. And then the moment I said that, she was like, no, you can't wait. You need to you would have to talk to the oncologist again. You would have to talk to the doctor again. You would have to do this again. You would have to do that again. And I was just like, oh my God. Once I told her, I was like, well, the reason I actually really wanted to wait is because I was going to get more insurance. And the moment I said I'm going to get more insurance, she told me, oh, okay, well then if you want to do that, that's fine. And she said, do you think you'll be ready by Monday? And right there, I was like, oh no, that was a red flag to me, because I just felt like I was just another stamp or another, person that they wouldn't even care about, So I said, I'm going to go ahead on and get a second opinion. Not to mention, I'm a hairstylist, and 3 of my clients asked me if I was going to go and get a second opinion. And I was telling them no, because I was scared. One reason I was scared is because of the biopsy, and I was there by myself. And because I was there by myself, I was so scared. And I had to get biopsy in 2 different places. So that means they took out they took out 3 from each place that they had to go in. And I had to get numbed. And it was just a whole process, and that scared me to death. And so I felt like I didn't want to go get a second opinion. But like I said, 3 of my clients asked me to go and get a second opinion. And I was like, no, because of that reason. But after that, I was like, and one client, oh my God, she comes to me every week. She asked me every week. Every week she comes every Saturday. She asked me, are you going to go get a second opinion? And I was like, no, didn't we talk about this last week? And I told her, I finally told her, I was able to tell her, yes, I'm going to go get a second opinion. And she was very thrilled about that. So, but yeah.
That was nothing but God.
Yes.
And now we get to the good part. Mm-hmm. Where did you go and get the second opinion?
So, for the second opinion, I am going to MD Anderson. I have not gone just yet. But I know that MD Anderson is the number 1 in the nation. And when I first found out, I was saying I wanted to go to MD Anderson, but at the time, MD Anderson did not take the insurance that I had. But now, the insurance that I have, they do take that. And I'm going to go and see them, and I'm so excited about seeing them.
And she mentioned that MD Anderson was number 1 in the nation. She's referring to cancer. They come from all over the world, yes, to go to MD Anderson. So I'm going to just say, I'm going to believe that the good Lord put his hand on you, yes, to get that second opinion, yes, because you're in good hands, mm-hmm, and it's going to work out. Yeah. But as you can see, works out for me. Middle class it shouldn't even be about class for insurance in America. Mm-hmm. But you see what she went through, and she has insurance, and this is overwhelming. And with something like that going on, what kind of mind frame would you be in when you're looking at something like the big C word, and then you have a medical people kind of trying to push you in a direction, and you're not sure where you want to go or how you want to do it. But then all of a sudden, you have people in your life, come in your lives to tell you, get that second opinion. Yeah. Get that second opinion. You did well, and I'm so happy for you, because that's something that a lot of people they think that the medical industry, doctors, if they tell me it's this, then this is what it is. And I'm not going to speak anything. This is not about downing the medical industry. This is about giving a forum to a young lady that's going through a lot. And it's a lot of people out there in this country that's facing some of the same things, or they will be facing them in the future. And to have information like this is extremely valuable. So now let's talk about your support network. What does that look like?
So I have 5 kids, and so all of them are on board with me doing this. They're there for me. I have a huge family, and then I also have my church family. So I have my family that I was born into, and then I have my church family who I was born into, basically. so yeah, everybody, and then there's a few ladies at my church that they've gone through this process as well, and so they've assured me that things are it's not as bad. So where I am in the stage, I am in stage 1 right now. My cancer is the size of it is 1.4 centimeters, and it's being fed by estrogen. I didn't know that estrogen could be something that could be a hinder to you as a I did not know that. So maybe my body is producing too much estrogen. So we'll just have to see what MD Anderson says and what their plan is for me going forward.
And for those of you that are going to view this, you have to really admire this young lady, because this is and she has a Facebook page that she does every day that's talking about her journey. And when I saw her on Facebook, she is uplifting. She's handling this well. She's handling it well, and she is to be commended for that. Now, I want to touch on another subject that's even going to make you understand how special this young lady is. She recently lost her mom, and with that being said, I'm going to let you take it over. What was that impact of how you were dealing with this and your best friend was no longer here to support you?
Okay, so as he said, my mom, she was my best friend. My mom had some struggles in the past, and she ended up having anaplastic thyroid cancer, which that is something that they don't know anything about. So they don't know anything about this cancer. Thyroid cancer is something that can actually be cured, but anaplastic thyroid cancer is a very aggressive cancer. And so with that being said, she's gone, she's not here. And so by me getting cancer and not having my mom here with me, that really touched my heart. I'm just it's hard for me to even right now kind of hold back the tears, because
it's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
Because every time, let's say I didn't even know where my mom was, every time I had a child, my mom was there. And now with me going through this, my mom won't be there for me. She won't be the person there to tell me that it's going to be okay. She won't be there to hold my hand. She just won't be there. And this is kind of hard, just going through this without her. But I know she would tell me to be strong, and I know that she would just tell me to just continue to depend on the Lord. Talk to Him. He'll give me strength where I'm weak. And I've actually been weak a lot. And my main thing is the fact that my mom is not here. And that's the hardest part for me. It's the hardest part. I have aunts, I have uncles, I have family that I can reach out to, but it's totally different when your mom is not there. The one person that just was there for you for a lot of things. So that was really, that's hard. It's really hard to go through this without her.
Now you kind of understand why I have so much respect for this lady. She's doing this. Yes, she has her family, but I happen to know that her mom and her had a very special relationship. And this is something she's going through all on her own. Once again, I want to welcome everyone to my podcast, How to Get There. This is Coach Jerry Mills. And again, we're talking to Miss Renita Gold, and she's giving us a lot of informative information about breast cancer. She is truly going through it. You hear a lot of stories. This people are telling their stories about survivors, breast cancer survivors. But we have a young lady that's new on this journey, and I admire her like you wouldn't believe, because she's handling it like a trooper. And if you listen to part 1, you'll understand a little bit about it. She was talking about her mom and the impact of not having her mom and her support network. Now, after all is said and done with the support network and all of that, do you have any insight on exactly what is going to be the procedure? I'm sure you have some information about what they're going to look for. Just kind of give the people in your own words,
okay,
what's ahead of you.
Okay. So at this point, because going through the other situation, I was able to get a little bit of information. So with that, so basically what they have to do, I'll just call it dye. They have to insert you with this certain dye. So then therefore when they go in, they'll be able to see exactly where the cancer is, and they won't just be in there just fiddle-faddling around trying to find it. So they put the dye in you. And then what they do is go ahead on and take the tumor out, and after that it'll be radiation. So radiation is going to be for at least, well, with them it was going to be 3 weeks every single day for 3 weeks. And after the radiation, they give, because mine is fed by estrogen, what they'll be doing is giving me a estrogen like suppressant or something, so they can get rid of that, so it won't come back again. So that's what my thought is. I'm not sure if MD Anderson is going to go with that same procedure or anything like that, but that's what I know right now.
Outstanding. And as you can tell, she's done a lot of research. So if you have one thing, or the most important thing, because I'm not going to say one thing, that you would share with people out there that's starting this journey, right, what would be the most, well, I'm not going to say 1, 2, or 3. What would you share with them that they should be looking for and how to proceed on this journey? Okay,
first thing I want to say is you need to make sure, it's very important that you go and get your mammograms. That's how they were able to find my cancer. So please go and get your mammograms. And it is a higher rate of Black women that's not surviving this. And one of the reasons is early detection. Us as Black women, sometimes we don't go to the hospital or we don't go to the doctor's often, and that's due to no insurance. So even if you can go to the doctor and, just get tested, That's my main thing. Please go get tested, because early detection is very important in this situation, because if not, the journey will be harder. So early detection.
And this may sound corny, but I have to ask you this. Yeah. How is it that you're handling this so well? What do you have that's giving you the strength to really handle this? Because I would recommend you guys, Miss Renita Gold, go on Facebook, because every day she is posting something and it is uplifting. And by the way, this is no staged podcast. She's going through this. But it's kind of hard to believe because she is so uplifting. And I just want to, this is energy that I feel as though if we could just put this out there, because someone else is going to need it. Look at that beautiful smile. And she's like that. She's handling this like it's just another day at the office. Is it the fact that you were a flight attendant at one time and you just used to serving the public, or is just... What is it?
What is it?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing I have to say, this is all by the grace of God. Because the thing of it is, if I did not have God in my life, then I feel like I would be a worry wart. I would be one of those people who are just like, oh my God, this is happening. I would just be freaking out like a lot. And so because of God and because I know him and I know he loves me, he gives me this energy. I am one of the most, well, I was told this one time. I am one of the most positive people that this one guy had ever met. And he was a flight attendant with me. And so when things would go wrong with the company, I would say, no, this and this and this and this. I would always say something uplifting or something like that. So this has been me forever. Wherever I go, I bring the sunshine because I am the sunshine. The sun and people give me my energy. So, and God, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is, thank you, God, for another beautiful day. It could be raining, it could be bad weather, but it's always a beautiful day. And I feel like everything always works out for me because it does. Because if you worry, what is that going to get you? Nowhere. You worry about stuff so much, and then in a few minutes, God has already changed that thing. He has already worked it out for your good, so you can give him the glory, the praise, the blessings, and the praises, because that's just who he is.
And this is not rehearsed. This is who this lady is. And somewhere, it may not be today, it may be a month from today, but someone out there is going to start on this same journey, and this podcast will be worth listening to because it's amazing. And I've asked her many times, how is it that you can be this uplifting? But what you're seeing is for real. But at the same time, people, she hit on some very positive things about detection and whatnot. And once you are diagnosed, then you have to put on a different face because it becomes a different journey. Yes. Can you elaborate on that? Once it was diagnosed, what was that like? I know I don't mean to bring back harsh moments, but what exactly was going through your mind at the moment that you were told that? Because the big C, that's something that in our society, it's overwhelming. But how did you handle that initially when you first heard it?
Well, when I first heard it, okay, so let me just say this. When they told me that I had to come back, I had did my yearly mammogram, and they said, okay, we need for you to come back because we found something, and so we need you to come back and take another mammogram and an ultrasound. So when they said that, and my appointment, let's just say they called me on a Friday, my appointment may have been on a Monday, that I had to go back. And so, and then they said they was going to give me the results after they do the mammogram and things like that, and the ultrasound. And so at that point, I started praying. I started saying, God, if this be your will, then so be it. And, I'm just going to go through it because I know you're going to bring me through it. I know it's going to be to give you glory, to give you honor, and to give you praise. And that's what I was thinking. And so then once I found out that it was, again, I just okay, thank you, God. This is another fight that I have to endure. And that's it. This is another fight. So, okay, God, let me just put my boxing gloves on.
Amen.
And let's go.
As a coach, I used to always tell my athletes that there is no shame in falling down, but it becomes a problem when you don't get back up. And for this young lady to never have stumbled and to stay up, as the new saying, 10 toes down, and handling this like a veteran, a warrior, or however you want to do it. As I stated before, it's going to be someone, possibly a lot of people that will look at this, and this is going to be inspiring because this is an inspirational story. I'm going to definitely have her back on here a few more times And when this thing is licked, I want her to come on here and tell her story on how she feels. Because no one, you can say, I understand, I feel for you, but if you're not going through this, it's rough.
It is. Yeah.
And this is what it's like. So after this podcast is over, again, her name is Renita Gold. Follow her on Facebook, and you will see this bubbling personality every day that's facing the world. And it reminds me of that old record. She faced the hardest times you could imagine, and many times her eyes fought back to tears. But she's the lady, and she is doing that thing, and it's going to be positive. It's going to turn out the way she wants it. And so what I'll say is, for all of these ladies that have been cancer survivors, breast cancer survivors, I commend you, congratulate you. But you have one more that's getting ready to join you, and let's keep her all in our prayers, and we're going to go forward. Is there any closing remarks you would like to make?
Okay, so I do want to say, like he said, follow me on Facebook, because my thing is, for 31 days, I am rocking my pink, and I am also giving you the promises of God every single day for 31 days. And with the promises of God and me rocking my pink and me supporting breast cancer awareness, we gonna get through this thing.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, I would like to thank you for coming aboard.
Thank you for having me.
This has been very inspirational, as far as educational as well. And as I stated, this is here for the public. You know, this is the podcast. When I started it, I said it was going to be athletic and informative information. And then Breast Cancer Month came up, and I wanted to do something special because this lady deserves it. And it's another lady out there, you know who you are. You deserve it as well. Ethel, you are a survivor. Congratulations. And I was thinking of you when I was putting this together. And I wanted Renita to come on and tell her story. She's at the beginning. So God bless you. And we're going to go from there.
Thank
okay?
you.
All right.